That man loves me so much. And, you know, look what we built. We built a beautiful life, and we have 2 healthy, beautiful children. If you haven't noticed, my husband's very, very handsome.
It's so fake.
Like, this can't be real.
Oh, he's such a great partner.
It sucks.
Are you joking?
It's
This
bad.
is terrible.
You suck. You suck.
I feel that.
What?
Stop.
All of it is fake.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
I don't like it. Talking nonsense. It's stupid.
Right, I feel that every day in how supportive he's been. He's also a fox.
You're ugly.
It's weird, right?
I get another lecture from you, I'm gonna go crazy.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard.
Shut the fuck up. Bitch. You're a fucking idiot.
Joe Rogan's brutal mockery of Meghan Markle wasn't just comedy. It was a surgical strike that exposed the hollow core of a woman whose entire post-royal existence has been built on lies, manipulation, and theatrical performances that would make a soap opera actress cringe. When Rogan tore apart her fake tears with the precision of a master surgeon, he didn't just create viral content. He pulled back the curtain on the most calculated royal con job in modern history.
She's allegedly wearing no makeup. Meanwhile, she's got like the perfect blowout. Like she's completely camera ready. And she also is pretending that she's crying. There isn't a tear in sight. It's an actor's trick.
The podcasting giant's savage parody hit every nerve because it revealed what millions had been thinking but were too polite to say. Meghan Markle is a fraud. Every tear, every trembling voice, every carefully timed emotional breakdown has been as authentic as a $3 bill. And Rogan, with his decades of experience calling out phonies and pretenders, delivered the kind of reality check that cut through years of manufactured victimhood in less than 5 minutes. This isn't just another celebrity scandal. This is the systematic unraveling of a woman who thought she could manipulate an entire world with crocodile tears and Oscar-worthy performances.
You look lovely.
Thank you, so do you.
Before we get into it,
From fake crying to forged royal signatures, from billion-dollar lawsuits to yacht girl conspiracies, the Meghan Markle house of cards isn't just cracking, it's collapsing in spectacular fashion. When Joe Rogan decided to take aim at Meghan Markle's theatrical emotional display, he didn't just create a parody, he delivered a masterclass in exposing performative manipulation. The man who built his career on detecting bullshit from a mile away turned his laser focus on the Duchess of Delusion, and the results were absolutely devastating. Rogan's impression captured every nauseating detail of Meghan's fake vulnerability act. You look lovely. Thank you. So do you. He nailed the saccharine tone.
You know, Meghan, how are you? And are you okay?
That's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. How are you?
That smile's a little bit over the top. And that single shoulder shrug she has, that usually indicates that person isn't very confident with their answer or their statement.
But it was a savage mockery of her royal rejection theater that really hit home. Won't need these anymore. Can crowns go in the recycling bin? Toss them on the Goodwill pile. Out with the old. In California, we're just a regular couple living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. The brilliance wasn't just in the accuracy, it was in how he exposed the fundamental contradiction at the heart of Meghan's entire persona. Here's a woman claiming to want privacy while name-dropping Oprah, rejecting royal trappings while desperately clinging to royal titles, playing the victim while orchestrating every moment for maximum media impact.
And Meghan's just accepting all these compliments. I know I'm great, aren't I?
I couldn't tell anyone who I was dating, and he was keeping. So I think we were just on a letter basis.
Yeah.
This is fake. She knows exactly when that happened. The eye search she's got going on there, that's forced and faked, as is the facial expression.
It's so fake, this can't be real, became the rallying cry that echoed across social media. Millions of people who had been gaslit into believing they were witnessing authentic emotion suddenly realized they'd been watching a performance, and not even a good one. Rogan's parody went viral because it validated what people's instincts had been screaming. Everything about Meghan Markle's public persona is manufactured, calculated, and completely artificial. The internet erupted with people sharing their own observations about Meghan's theatrical displays. Comment sections filled with viewers who admitted they felt something was off but couldn't quite put their finger on it. Rogan had given them permission to trust their instincts and call out what they were really seeing, a mediocre actress trying to manipulate global sympathy through manufactured vulnerability.
Won't need these anymore. Can crowns go in the recycling bin?
Toss them on the Goodwill pile. Out with the old. In California, we're just a regular couple living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. But not too far.
Hey, it's the husband formerly known as Prince. Any luck getting a job?
Oh, they had me driving for Uber Eats. But there were too many damn rules. Don't touch the food. Don't taste the food. Drive on the road.
I'm sorry, Rowdy Weddy.
Why are we so mad today?
Because we want our privacy.
But Rogan's devastating takedown was just the opening act in a much larger exposure of Meghan's fraudulent behavior. Because while his parody highlighted the performance, what came next would expose the performer herself in ways that would make his comedy seem gentle by comparison. The interview with Jamie Kern-Lima was supposed to be Meghan Markle's redemption moment. Instead, it became Exhibit A in the case against her authenticity. Sitting there with her perfectly styled hair, despite claims of being makeup-free, Meghan delivered what can only be described as the worst acting performance of her career. And that's saying something, considering her track record. As she began sharing her supposed struggles, every element of her presentation screamed performance. Her voice developed that specific tremor that drama school dropouts use when they're trying too hard. Her breathing became theatrical. Her pauses were positioned for maximum dramatic impact, rather than emerging from genuine emotion. Then came the moment that would destroy whatever credibility she had left. Meghan's apparent emotional breakdown was a masterpiece of manufactured vulnerability. Voice cracking, rapid blinking, hand to face, all the visual cues of someone falling apart. She dabbed under her eyes with the precision of someone who had practiced this exact movement. Except there were no tears. Not one. In the age of high-definition cameras and frame-by-frame analysis, Meghan's tearless crying performance was exposed within hours. Eagle-eyed viewers zoomed in, slowed down the footage, and shared screenshot after screenshot showing the complete absence of actual tears.
During promotion for Suits, she was joking with one of the photographers that she can cry on command. Left eye, go. And then you watch a tear fall down her face, and then she starts cackling because she's so proud of herself.
She has this really famous thing where she says one tap left eye and she can make herself cry.
The woman who was supposedly sharing her deepest trauma couldn't even produce a single tear to sell her performance. The revelation was devastating because it exposed the calculated nature of what was supposed to be her most vulnerable moment. This wasn't just emotional exaggeration, this was outright deception. Meghan was literally performing the act of crying without experiencing the emotion that produces tears. But the scandal took an even more damaging turn when old footage resurfaced from her Suits promotional days. There was Meghan laughing about her ability to cry on command. Left eye, one tear. Give me 3 seconds, she bragged, demonstrating her skill before breaking into laughter. What had once been a charming party trick now looked like evidence of systematic emotional manipulation.
Yeah, they did love that. Yeah. Oh, I can do that so well. Oh my god, it's crazy. They're like, Meghan, one tear, left eye, go. Give me 3 seconds.
The contrast was stark and undeniable. Years ago, she had openly discussed her ability to manufacture tears as a professional acting skill. Now she was using that same skill to manipulate public sympathy while presenting it as authentic emotional vulnerability. The woman who had once laughed about fake crying was now using fake crying to con the world into believing her victim narrative. Social media exploded with the hashtag Crocodile Tears as users shared their analysis of what was being called the most obvious fake crying performance in recent memory. The internet had caught Meghan red-handed in what appeared to be calculated emotional manipulation, and the evidence was too overwhelming to ignore or explain away. This revelation about Meghan's manufactured tears opened the floodgates for more detailed scrutiny of her public behavior. If she was willing to fake something as basic as crying, what else was she willing to manipulate? The fake tears scandal was about to lead to an even deeper examination of her deceptive behavior patterns.
So I'd created for the kids these email addresses that sort of like names again that you would never guess that I will give them at some point in their lives when they're older. But before I go to bed almost every night.
Meghan, my God, you get praise every day, getting attention every day. You gotta praise yourself on Mother's Day? Really? It's all branding. Did you notice it? It's all branding to make herself look more relatable and motherly.
While social media was busy roasting Meghan's tearless performance, professional body language experts were conducting their own investigation. What they discovered was even more damaging than fake tears. It was scientific proof of systematic deception that extended throughout her entire public presentation. Scott Rouse, a top-tier body language expert, put Meghan's performance under the microscope microscope and found a textbook case of someone trying to manufacture authentic emotion while failing to understand basic human physiology. His analysis was brutal in its precision and devastating in its conclusions. Instead, Rouse observed carefully controlled expressions that hit obvious emotional markers while missing the subtle physiological responses that indicate genuine distress. Her facial expressions were too symmetrical, too perfectly positioned for the camera. Real emotional breakdown is messy and unflattering. Meghan's version was neat, photogenic, and suspiciously camera-ready. The eye analysis was particularly damning. Meghan's blinking pattern was completely inconsistent with genuine distress. Her eye movements appeared deliberate and staged rather than reflecting someone accessing painful memories. Most revealing was what Rouse identified as forced eye searching, a conscious attempt to create the appearance of emotional recall rather than actually experiencing it. Even more telling was the single shoulder shrug during supposedly heartfelt moments, a gesture that typically indicates uncertainty or subconscious disagreement with one's own statements. While her words conveyed authenticity, her body language was betraying doubt about her own performance. Throughout the interview, Meghan maintained what experts called performance posture, positioned optimally for cameras rather than naturally reflecting her supposed emotional state. People in genuine distress don't typically maintain such careful attention to their physical presentation. Most damaging were the micro-expressions, brief, involuntary facial expressions that occur before conscious control kicks in. During her supposedly most vulnerable moments, experts identified flashes of what appeared to be satisfaction or smugness, completely inappropriate for someone sharing traumatic experiences, but entirely consistent with someone pleased with their performance. The professional validation provided by body language experts moved the conversation beyond subjective impressions into objective, measurable observations. Multiple experts reached the same conclusion. Meghan's emotional presentation was a sophisticated performance designed to manipulate audience sympathy rather than genuine vulnerability. This scientific analysis revealed something deeply troubling about the level of premeditation involved in Meghan's deception. The sophistication of her performance suggested extensive preparation and practice. This wasn't someone caught up in the moment. This was someone who had carefully studied how to fake authentic vulnerability while maintaining complete emotional control. The body language analysis provided concrete evidence for what many had sensed intuitively about Meghan's public presentations. There had always been something inauthentic, something that didn't ring true. Professional analysis gave substance to those instincts, providing objective proof of systematic deception. But as damaging as the scientific exposure of her emotional manipulation was, it paled in comparison to what came next: concrete evidence that her deception extended beyond performance into potential legal violations of formal agreements. Just when the fake crying and body language scandals were reaching their peak, Meghan Markle managed to detonate an entirely new controversy that struck at the very heart of her relationship with the British Crown. What should have been a simple gift of homemade strawberry jam became instead a nuclear explosion of broken promises and violated agreements. The bomb was hidden in 5 words, with compliments of Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. This wasn't just a protocol breach, this was a flagrant violation of the formal Megxit agreement that had allowed Harry and Meghan to leave royal duties while maintaining their titles. The terms were crystal clear. They could keep their titles technically, but were absolutely prohibited from using them publicly or commercially. The use of Her Royal Highness on what was supposedly a personal gift represented a deliberate middle finger to the institution that had bent over backwards to accommodate their departure. This wasn't a slip of the pen or honest mistake. This was calculated disrespect for formal agreements and constitutional protocols. The timing made it even more egregious. This came while King Charles was dealing with serious health challenges and the monarchy needed stability. Meghan's casual violation of formal agreements looked especially tone-deaf and self-serving during a period when the royal family was facing genuine crises. The public reaction was swift and brutal. Polling showed that 97% of respondents wanted King Charles to strip Harry and Meghan of their titles completely. This wasn't just disapproval, this was overwhelming public demand for decisive action against what was seen as systematic disrespect for royal institutions. The strawberry jam scandal revealed the fundamental contradiction at the heart of Meghan's post-royal existence. She wanted to maintain royal benefits while rejecting royal responsibilities. She claimed to have moved beyond her royal connections while privately leveraging royal authority for personal purposes. Royal commentators pointed out that the violation was particularly insulting because it occurred in a private context. This wasn't confusion about public protocols. This was a personal gift where she consciously chose to invoke royal status in exactly the way she had formally agreed not to do. The incident highlighted Meghan's having it both ways approach that had frustrated palace officials throughout her brief royal career. She publicly rejected institutional constraints constraints while privately maintaining the status and authority that came with her former position. The legal implications were significant. Royal titles aren't personal property, they represent official positions within the British constitutional system. Meghan's casual misuse suggested either fundamental misunderstanding of what royal titles represent or deliberate decision to ignore legal constraints governing their use. The overwhelming public support for title removal reflected broader frustration with Meghan's approach to her royal connections. People were tired of what they saw as attempts to maintain royal benefits while rejecting royal responsibilities, having the crown without carrying the weight. This royal title violation was about to lead to even more serious legal troubles as Meghan's business ventures began facing challenges that would threaten not just her reputation, but her financial future. Meghan's violation of royal protocols was just the beginning of her legal troubles. Her attempt to launch a lifestyle brand called As Ever, originally named American Riviera Orchard, quickly descended into a farce that would make even the most ambitious grifter blush with embarrassment. The rebrand from American Riviera Orchard to As Ever was spun as intentional evolution, but industry insiders saw it for what it really was: damage control. The original name had immediately run into trademark conflicts and legal challenges that threatened to derail the entire venture before it even launched. But the real scandal emerged when eagle-eyed observers noticed that As Ever's logo looked suspiciously similar to the official coat of arms from the Spanish town of Mallorca. It wasn't just inspired, it was a near-identical copy that suggested either breathtaking arrogance or stunning incompetence in brand development. The Spanish officials weren't amused. Legal threats began circling as the town of Mallorca accused Meghan of appropriating their traditional heraldic symbols for commercial purposes. What was supposed to be a luxury lifestyle brand quickly became a punchline about copy-paste royalty with a lawsuit appetizer. The chaos didn't stop there, as Ever's website displayed the kind of amateur-hour marketing that would embarrass a college intern. Products were listed as sold out before they were ever actually available for sale, a transparent attempt to create artificial scarcity for items that didn't exist. The legal troubles multiplied when a devoted Meghan fan from Maryland filed a catastrophic lawsuit claiming that a DIY bath salt recipe featured in Meghan's Netflix content had left her with severe burns. The woman, who was diabetic, alleged that ingredients like arnica and Himalayan salt had worsened her condition, leading to what she described as catastrophic injuries. The lawsuit sought nearly $10 million in damages from Meghan, Netflix, and the Archwell Foundation. While some dismissed it as opportunism, the legal filing made headlines and threatened to become a public relations nightmare that could shatter what remained of Meghan's carefully curated brand. The bath salt lawsuit highlighted a fundamental problem with Meghan's approach to lifestyle content. She was offering advice and recipes without proper disclaimers or consideration of potential health impacts. Her privileged position had apparently made her careless about the real-world consequences of her recommendations. Industry experts pointed out that the multiple legal challenges facing As Ever suggested either incompetent legal counsel or willful disregard for intellectual property and consumer safety laws. Either way, it painted a picture of a business venture that was poorly planned and potentially dangerous to both the brand and its customers. The combination of trademark violations, heraldic appropriation, and consumer injury lawsuits created a perfect storm of legal troubles that threatened to consume Meghan's business ambitions before they could gain any real traction. But as problematic as her current legal troubles were, they paled in comparison to the persistent rumors about her past, rumors that refused to die and had recently gained new life through social media investigation. Long before Prince Harry entered the picture, whispers had followed Meghan Markle through her struggling actress years. The most persistent and damaging of these rumors involved her alleged participation in elite social circles as what's euphemistically called a yacht girl, women paid to attend luxury parties hosted by ultra-wealthy businessmen on private yachts. The term itself carries loaded implications. While nothing illegal is explicitly alleged, the suggestion is that Meghan's rise wasn't built on talent or luck alone. It was calculated networking with powerful men who could advance her career in exchange for companionship and discretion. Author Kirby Summers made explosive claims suggesting that Meghan had connections to Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew long before she ever met Harry. Some pointed to old photographs that allegedly showed her in proximity to these controversial figures during her modeling and briefcase girl days on Deal or No Deal. The conspiracy gained new momentum when resurfaced footage showed a former golf tournament organizer claiming that Meghan had worked as a celebrity caddy, mingling with powerful men years before she landed her prince. The implication was clear. She knew how the game was played and played it expertly. The nearest thing Meghan Markle ever had to a billion-dollar idea was marrying a prince became a viral observation that captured the essence of these rumors. Critics suggested that her entire relationship with Harry was the culmination of a long-term strategy rather rather than a fairy tale romance. While concrete evidence remained elusive, the yacht girl rumors fit too perfectly into the larger pattern of calculated behavior that defined Meghan's public life. The idea that she had strategically positioned herself in elite circles before meeting Harry aligned with other evidence of her methodical approach to social climbing. The conspiracy theories gained credibility from Meghan's own contradictory statements about her knowledge of the royal family. She claimed to have barely known anything about Harry before their meeting, yet evidence suggested she had followed the royals closely and even saved photos of Princess Diana on her laptop. Former friends and associates began sharing stories about Meghan's ambitions and strategies that painted a picture of someone who had been planning her assault on high society for years. The yacht girl rumors became part of a larger narrative about a woman who left nothing to chance in her pursuit of wealth and status. The persistence of these rumors, combined with Meghan's demonstrated pattern of deception in other areas, created a cloud of suspicion that followed her throughout her royal career and beyond. While she couldn't be definitively proven to have participated in yacht culture, she couldn't definitively disprove it either. These swirling conspiracies about her past were about to be overshadowed by evidence of something even more calculated, a systematic campaign to target and capture Prince Harry that had allegedly been years in the making. From the beginning, Meghan Markle insisted her relationship with Prince Harry was pure serendipity, a blind date, instant connection, no prior research, or royal obsession. But behind this fairy tale narrative, a very different and far more calculating story was taking shape. Multiple reports from friends and associates painted a picture that contradicted Meghan's claims of royal ignorance. According to several sources, she had maintained a vision board featuring Prince Harry's face years before they ever met. What she presented as a harmless crush was actually evidence of systematic targeting. The vision board revelation was particularly damaging because it suggested premeditation on a level that transformed their relationship from romance to campaign. This wasn't a woman who stumbled into royal circles. This was someone who had identified her target and worked methodically toward capturing him. Resurfaced blog posts showed Meghan gushing about royal weddings, British titles, and palace glamour long before meeting Harry. Yet in interviews, she consistently played up her ignorance about royal protocol and traditions. The contradiction was stark, someone deeply interested in royal life claiming to know nothing about the family she was marrying into. Former insiders claimed she had studied royal protocol before ever dating Harry, mapping out media strategies years before meeting him. The suggestion was that she had identified the kind of press coverage needed to break into UK spotlight and had positioned herself accordingly. It was planned from the beginning, became a recurring theme among those who claimed inside knowledge of Meghan's strategies. The idea that she had been aiming for the crown long before anyone noticed added a sinister dimension to what had been sold as organic romance. Her claimed ignorance about Harry before their relationship became increasingly difficult to believe as evidence mounted of her long-standing interest in royal affairs. The woman who supposedly never Googled Harry had somehow accumulated extensive knowledge about royal procedures and media management. Industry sources suggested that Meghan's entire media career had been building toward a moment like meeting Harry, that she had been systematically positioning herself in circles where such an encounter would be possible while developing the skills needed to capitalize on it. The calculated nature of her approach to Harry became even more apparent when viewed alongside her demonstrated pattern of strategic relationship building throughout her career. This wasn't just about love, this was about identifying and pursuing the ultimate prize in social climbing. The targeting of Harry represented the culmination of what appeared to be a carefully planned assault on the highest levels of British society. But as successful as her campaign had been in capturing her prince, it was about to trigger a war with his family that would ultimately destroy both relationships. Whatever doubts the royal family initially had about Meghan's motives and authenticity, they were no longer keeping them private. According to palace insiders, Prince William had completely severed ties not just with Meghan, but with Harry as well. The future king's message to staff was clear: don't even bring up his name. The nuclear option came when Harry appeared on international television and casually mentioned he didn't know how much longer King Charles had to live. The quote spread like wildfire, with headlines running the shocking statement globally. Royal watchers gasped at what appeared to be Harry turning his father's health struggles into a media soundbite while simultaneously claiming he wanted reconciliation. The hypocrisy was staggering. Harry publicly speculated about his father's mortality while complaining that Charles wouldn't speak to him about security arrangements. The royal family's response was swift and unforgiving, complete communication blackout that had lasted over a year. King Charles's refusal to engage with Harry since February 2024 represented an unprecedented breakdown in royal family relationships. The monarch, who had tried repeatedly to maintain family unity, had apparently reached his breaking point with what he saw as continued manipulation and media exploitation. Prince William's reported plan plan to formally strip Harry and Meghan of their titles once he ascends to the throne represented the nuclear option, complete severance from royal institutions with no possibility of return. The future king was apparently done with half measures and patient accommodation. The polling data reflected public sentiment that had turned decisively against the couple. Even in the United States, where support had once been solid, their popularity was plummeting as their Netflix deals fizzled and Spotify dropped them entirely. The royal family's patience had been exhausted by what they saw as continued exploitation of family relationships for commercial and media purposes. Every interview, every revelation, every public statement seemed designed to maintain relevance at the expense of family privacy and institutional dignity. Palace sources suggested that William was particularly furious about Meghan's continued use of royal titles after agreeing to step back from royal duties. Her casual violation of formal agreements was seen as evidence that she had never intended to honor the terms of their departure. The royal war had reached the point where reconciliation appeared impossible. The bridges hadn't just been burned, they had been systematically demolished by someone who seemed more interested in maintaining media attention than preserving family relationships. This complete breakdown in royal relationships was symptomatic of a larger identity crisis that was consuming Meghan's public persona and threatening to destroy what remained of her credibility. At this point, even Meghan's most devoted supporters were struggling to answer a fundamental question. What exactly was she trying to be? The woman who had once walked red carpets and attended state dinners was now trapped in an identity crisis that seemed to grow more desperate and confused with each public appearance. Critics pointed out that Meghan wanted all the privileges of royalty without any of the responsibilities. She maintained the charity appearances, press coverage, and curated image that came with royal status, but rejected the service, tradition, and self-sacrifice that the monarchy was built on. Her lifestyle brand pushed luxury and royal connections, while her Netflix content felt increasingly scripted and hollow. Every move was perfectly styled but strangely empty, like watching someone try to balance being a relatable suburban mom and a global icon whose every email to her children was being archived for public consumption. The authenticity gap had become a chasm. Her public presentations felt more like performances than genuine communication, with every tear, every revelation, every vulnerable moment appearing calculated for maximum impact rather than emerging from real emotion. Industry observers noted that Meghan seemed to be trying to reinvent the crown for Hollywood rather than escape it entirely. She wanted the global platform and cultural influence that came with royal connections, but without the constitutional constraints and institutional obligations. Her approach to public engagement had become a masterclass in having it both ways, claiming privacy while courting publicity, rejecting royal duties while leveraging royal status, presenting herself as authentic while deploying sophisticated performance techniques. The identity crisis was playing out in real time as she struggled to find a sustainable model for post-royal relevance. Every interview, every business venture, every public statement seemed to raise more questions about her fundamental motivations and long-term strategy. The woman who had once seemed so clear about her goals and methods now appeared to be improvising desperately, trying different approaches and personas without finding one that could maintain public interest and credibility simultaneously. Her attempts to balance relatability with aspiration, authenticity with performance, privacy with publicity had created a public persona that felt increasingly unstable and unsustainable. This identity crisis was more than just a career challenge. It was the inevitable result of building an entire public existence on deception, manipulation, and carefully constructed performances that were finally being exposed for what they really were. After examining the fake tears, analyzing the body language deception, documenting the royal title violations, investigating the business disasters, exploring the conspiracy theories, reviewing the calculated targeting of Harry, witnessing the family warfare, and observing the identity crisis, one conclusion becomes inescapable. This was never just a royal love story. This has been a masterclass in media manipulation, branding psychology, and the relentless pursuit of relevance at any cost. Meghan Markle didn't just become a duchess, she became a symbol of ambition, controversy, and carefully curated emotion deployed as a weapon against anyone who dared question her narrative. To some, she remains a misunderstood modern woman trying to navigate impossible circumstances. But the evidence tells a different story of an ultimate performer able to cry on command, sign with titles she had relinquished, and sell strawberry jam like it was statecraft. Prince Harry remains caught in the middle, torn between loyalty, identity, and growing distance from everything he once knew. But the larger question isn't about individual relationships, it's about what we're witnessing in real time. Are we seeing the fall of a royal brand, or the birth of something more calculated and concerning? One thing is certain, Meghan Markle knows exactly how to keep people watching. Every tear, every title slip, every new product launch is part of a show show that refuses to end. And if Joe Rogan's savage parody proved anything, it's that the audience is finally ready to call out the performance for what it really is, a carefully orchestrated manipulation designed to transform a mediocre actress into global royalty through nothing more than manufactured vulnerability and strategic victimhood. The House of Cards isn't just cracking anymore, it's collapsing in spectacular fashion, one fake tear at a time.